About child sexual abuse. Official number statistics on how many children are raped or sexually abused are hard to come by. But figures from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, show that 6 out of 10 children in Nigeria experience emotional, physical, or sexual abuse before the age of 18. And that's 6 out of 10. Okay, from almost daily media reports on how children are being sexually abused in the country, it's time to take better action to protect the children from sexual predators. We have in the studio this morning people who've been working in this line, trying to ensure that all of this is prevented, and of course people who contravene the law
should be
punished. We have in-house this morning the head Child Protection Unit, Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Mrs. Modukpeola Saheed Adebambo. Good to have you here. We also have the coordinator, Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, Titilola Vivo Adeniyi. Good to have you here also.
Thank you for having me.
And the last but not the least, the volunteer member, Community Women's Rights Foundation, Alhaji Sulaiman Adiola. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let me start with Mrs. Zahida Dibambo. What's the picture like? We read in the newspapers, we hear on TV, and we watch on TV, and the situation seems to be very, very dire. What do you experience in your day-to-day activities?
For me, the experience is actually mind-blowing, because when you imagine the number of children that are being abused, particularly sexually, it goes beyond human comprehension. Why an adult in most cases will find it pleasurable to defile a child, and oftentimes no remorse, justification for the act. I really cannot comprehend why it happens, and surprisingly, perhaps because of the level of sensitization that is going on, we're getting more reports on a daily basis, and it's really mind-boggling. That's all I can say. A lot of times we go home overwhelmed. Just yesterday, there was a 15-year-old that was defiled by the uncle, and part of the report of the survey shows that children are abused by people who they know and they trust. That's another interesting aspect to it. Very disheartening. Why would anybody a child trusts take advantage of the child, And in this part of the world, the issue of stigmatization and cultural beliefs play a big role in preventing reporting, which is also a very big issue that we're facing. But by and large, with intervention of the Lagos State government, particularly the vision of the state government by setting up the DSVRT, which is the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, which Lola coordinates, it has gone a long way in helping to fight this menace, because it's a big issue. And we have different kinds of mechanisms in place. We have collaboration with development partners, particularly UNICEF, all putting hands on deck to fight this menace. And I believe that with time, we will reduce it, if not eradicate.
Lola, I'm sorry, but I'm almost getting emotional here, because I'm just imagining this morning coming out, I see a man playing with his daughter. So he's singing to her. Or, okay, so he walks into his room and the daughter had come into his room. He's coming from the bathroom and his daughter had walked into his room and she's sitting on his chair with her head buried. And so he comes in, you know, teasing her and they're just laughing. So in my head, I'm just picturing that child laughing now, probably being abused by somebody else. And he can't, of course, she can't laugh like that anymore. She'll lose that sense of innocence. So when she was talking, that's the picture that just came to my mind. I'm like, please, no. But before the show started, we were talking about laws that deter or laws to help prevent. Do we have such? I mean, the Lagos State government signed a death penalty for kidnapping. What kind of laws do we have to help stop, sorry to use the word, depraved human beings from living or carrying on with this kind of things?
Okay, so we have a criminal law. It was enacted in 2011. And there's a chapter 25, that is devoted to issues of sexual offenses. It would interest you to note that rape and defilement carry life imprisonment in Lagos State. So we did a distinction between rape, obviously having unlawful sexual intercourse with a person above the age of 18, and then defilement, which is provided for by section 137, is having unlawful sexual intercourse with a person below the age of 18. So the punishment is life. It's not that it's not capital, and that is why you hear that defendants who are arraigned before a magistrate court are granted bail, and people call and wonder why was this person granted bail? It's because it's still a billable offense. In Lagos State, we also have a sex offenders register. The primary aim of that register is to serve as a deterrent. If people know that if I do this and I'm convicted, my name will be put on this register and I'll be monitored for life. Government wants to believe that that's one way of reducing, discouraging perpetrators. But I think personally
Before you go on, that register, how many names do we have on that register?
We have over 140. Don't forget, I said convicted inmates. Personally, I think the greatest deterrence is conviction. The same way we hear that so person raped a child or defiled a child, and the next day we hear that the court has given judgment 14 years, 20 years, 30 years, and we blow it up. That sends a message that you cannot just do this and get away with it. Because what we have now is a culture of impunity. People doing these things and getting away with it. Society covering these perpetrators.
And blaming the victim, oftentimes.
Well, they don't really blame the children.
Sometimes they blame the victim.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's a child victim, a child survivor, most times society doesn't blame the children because is it the diaper the baby was wearing? Is it the spaghetti strap the 2-year-old was wearing? You know, it's mostly when it's adults that you say, oh, it's the mode of dressing. But the society, the perception is these are petty offenses. These are simple offenses. You know, people think that it's not serious. She didn't contract HIV. She's not pregnant. Some people even say she would have had sex in the future. So she started now, you know, warped thinking. So,
okay, Alhaja Adeola, you are a volunteer, and I'm sure you must have seen a couple of, you know, cases and circumstances. What is it that you get a sense of? Why would a man rape a 2-year-old, rape a 18-month-old child, a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old? You know, what is it that you found out in your course of, you know, working with your organization?
First and foremost, to my own understanding, number one, is environment has to do with it, because many parents are not well properly taking care of their children. They allow them to go anywhere, to allow anybody to play with them, they leave them at home. So believing that they've gone to school, when they come back to eat and then relax. And majority of these, there's one experience I had that bothered me much. is a woman with his husband. They give birth to twins because those twins are girls. So they couldn't take proper care of the twins. The husband will go to work and the woman go for, looking for her daily bread, leaving the girls at home, the twins. One day, one of the co-tenants just saw these two twins. They are crying, eating, they've litter all the floor. He just go in there and carry one of them, took her to his own personal room. So doing all this rubbish with that kind of way. So immediately one of the co-tenant again, another co-tenant just came in. See the other one crying on ground. Where's your second one? Shouting of the mother's name that, why did you leave one and where are you? Your daughter is crying. By the time he starts checking the rooms, that thing just come up on his mind. He starts checking the room. He now met that man with the other girl, so doing that rubbish. So immediately the man now shouted and the report got to us. So we now have to take it up, link up with the police, do this, do that. At the end of the day, it involves some people that start begging. It's a satanic this thing, that is devil. It's not this, it's not that, it doesn't mean it, all that. So now when the mother of the daughter now came back, instead of her to take it serious, she now said, they should leave him. So God will judge all this. It's no matter of
That's
God
the mother of the child.
Yes.
That was the found.
That God will judge. It's no matter that matter of God, that God judgment. Something proactive has to be taken, because the same thing will be repeating itself. If this man is not, if it's not being used as a deterrent to others, so every other person will continue thinking that they will just go scot-free. So, and the woman, when the husband too came back from work and heard of this, he said nothing concerned him. It's because the woman is not taking care of, and it's the blame of the husband.
And so the man is walking free.
He's walking free.
Wow.
Lola, in your responses, because you're part of a team that responds to these things, what have you found besides this? I mean, the blame game. This is the blame game. The mother is not a good woman.